Greetings and welcome to Iraq in 7 Minutes. I'm Eric, and joining me is the ever steadfast and valiant Omar, editor of Epic's Iraq Reports, Isham. Greetings, Omar.
Hi, Eric.
So, you see this shirt? We at Epic are getting ready for the In Their Shoes Global 5K benefiting the Iraqi Children Foundation. Our team now has 38 members. If you haven't yet signed up, we'll leave information and a link down below in the video description. We'd love for you to join our team. Omar, are you going to be there?
Oh, of course. Can't wait.
Excellent. And I am flying in. So I'm flying from Kenya. I'll be there in person, as well as some board members and a number of others, Epic colleagues. So we'd love for you to join us. We'll introduce you to everybody, and we'll do a good thing in generating support for vital programs that help vulnerable children in Iraq. So here's a recap of some of the top stories. Top security developments. 4 IED explosions were reported in Dakar, Salah-ad-Din, Nineveh, and Anbar provinces. The bombs targeted a local militia commander, a tribal chief, a joint army Peshmerga patrol, and PMF fighters, leaving several people injured but causing no fatalities. And yesterday, an airstrike of Iraqi F-16s reportedly killed a cell of 6 ISIS militants in Kirkuk province. Railway opposition. 125 Iraqi lawmakers are opposing a Basra-Iran railway, citing concerns that could be used for freight and would bypass Iraq's Grand Fa port, which of course has a lot of commercial and strategic importance for a lot of people. Income tax law draft. Yesterday, the Iraqi government received a draft income tax law developed with international partners, namely GIZ, aimed at increasing non-oil revenue through transparent tax reforms. And this is actually of enormous interest to many of us. Environmental strategy launch. So this week, UNDP, USAID, and Iraq's Ministry of Environment launched the 2024-2030 National Strategy for Environmental Protection, which focuses on sustainable resource use and water management. So before we turn to our main topic of analysis, Omar, can you give us a quick update regarding the $2.5 billion embezzlement case known as the heist of the century?
Yeah, there were some interesting developments this week. The Supreme Judicial Council decided to initiate or take legal measures against the head of the integrity, Judge Haidar Hannoun. Hannoun recently accused senior judges of deliberately obstructing the investigation into the theft of those $2.5 billion, accusing senior judges of hiding some case documents. The Supreme Judicial Council fired back, saying that these are untrue allegations, and that Hannoun was actually trying to deflect public attention from some audio tapes that surfaced recently in which they apparently implicate Hannoun in taking bribes. It's a very, really unpleasant situation that could be a lose-lose for Iraq. You either have a head of the Integrity Commission who is corrupt, or you have a judicial leadership that is trying to cover up corruption and unjustly prosecute someone who is clean. So it's very, very unpleasant situation. Both possibilities are not good. And I just have to also add that I'm not an expert in analyzing audio tapes, but the tapes that we looked at that supposedly implicate Hannoun in taking bribes seemed a little fishy. It's basically a few minutes in which someone is trying to say as much incriminating material in as little amount of time as possible. So it's a little unusual, but of course, we're not certain what's going on. This will have to undergo an investigation, but it's disturbing for sure.
Well, also, given the era of AI that we live in, it is always possible to be an impersonation. So yeah, an investigation is definitely warranted. So for deeper analysis, we turn to Iraq's parliament, which concluded discussion on controversial amendments to the Personal Status Law, number 188 of 1959, allowing it to proceed with a vote. Omar, can you tell us a little bit more about the nature of these amendments and why so many Iraqis are opposing them?
Yeah, so I think 110 lawmakers gathered signatures in support of a motion to try to take the amendments off of the agenda, and they were not successful. So the discussion went forward, primarily with support from the coordination framework. The controversy about these amendments is that they really don't say much on their own. The language really leaves the task to clerics from various sects to draft sets of rules that would be then presented to Parliament to approve. And the language in the amendments themselves actually don't really say much about what role Parliament would have in discussing or vetting these rules, or if they can send them back or edit them. There's lack of clarity on Parliament's role in this really critical legislative issue. And there is a lot of speculation about what the constitutionality of these amendments would be, because it's really unclear what those clerics are going to arrive at. Are they going to be able to reach consensus? Are they going to be locked in endless debate for months or even years? These are centuries old debates and differences that are often intractable and hard to arrive at resolutions. So the fact that the matter is left to these future forums of clerics without even a clear way of how they will be selected is one of the biggest reasons why there is so much public pushback against the amendments. It's really unclear how they're going to affect human rights, how they're going to affect women's rights, child rights, how are they going to affect sectarian divisions within the country.
I think many of our viewers could imagine the same scenario in their own countries if things were left to religious scholars to determine things about inheritance or when the life of a fetus begins or all these other issues. And of course, the idea that there'd be a consensus among those religious scholars is laughable. So it's understandable that there's such widespread opposition. Well, thank you, Omar. That was great analysis as always.
You're welcome.
So that's all for this episode of Iraq in 7 Minutes. For more news and analysis, visit us at enablingpeace.org. Don't forget to sign up for the 5K. And if you value this content, please like and subscribe to our channel. Otherwise, we'll see you next time.